Hare Krishna, everybody. Jai Radha Madhoma Gopijana Valama Gopijana Valama Shonanandana Gopijana Valama Gopijana Valama Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhire Nasha Prayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Vidura Uvacha Savai Swayam Bhuva Samra Priya Putra Swayam Bhuvaha Pratilabhya Priyam Patnim Kim Chakara Tato Mune Vidura Uvacha Savai Swayam Bhuvaha Samra Priya Putra Swayam Bhuvaha Pratilabhya Priyam Patnim Kim Chakara Tato Mune Vidura Uvacha. Vidura said, Saha, he, why, easily, Swayambhuvaha, Swayambhuva Manu, Samrat, the king of all kings, Priyaha, dear, Putraha, son, Swayambhuvaha, of Brahma, Pratilabhya, after obtaining, Priya, most loving, Patnim, wife, Kim, what, Chakara, did, Tataha, thereafter, Mune, a great sage. Vidura said, a great sage, what is Swayambhuva, the dear son of Brahma, do after obtaining his loving wife? 3:13.3 Charitram tasya jajashe Adi rajasya sattama Bruhimesha dadhanaya Vishwakshena shayo hyaso. Oh, best of the virtue, the original king of the kings, Manu was the great devotee of the personality Godhead Hari, and that is worth hearing of his sublime character and activities. Please describe them, and I am very eager to hear. Brenda.
Fervent by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead and His pure devotees. In the absolute world, there is no difference in quality between the Supreme Lord and His pure devotee. Therefore, hearing the topics of the Lord and hearing all the character and activities of the pure devotee have the same result, namely the development of devotional service.
Shratasya pumsam suchira samshasa
Rutasya pumsam sushira shramasya
nanu anjasa suribhi idito arthaha
nano anjasa suribhi idito arthaha
tattad gunashu shravanam mukunda
tattaguna manusha shravanam
padarabindam hridayeshu yesham.
padarindam hridayeshu yesham.
Persons who hear from a spiritual master with great labor and from a long time must hear from the mouths of pure devotees about the character and activity of the pure devotees. Pure devotees always think within the heart of the lotus feet of the personality Godhead who awards his devotees liberation. Persons who hear from a spiritual master with great labor and for a long time must hear from the mouths of pure devotees about the character and activities of pure devotees. Pure devotees always think within their heart of the lotus feet of the personality Godhead awards his devotees liberation.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Transcendental students are those who undergo great penance in being trained by hearing the Vedas from a bona fide spiritual master. Not only must they hear about the activities of the Lord, but they must also hear about the transcendental qualities of the devotees who are constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. A pure devotee of the Lord cannot be separated from the lotus feet of the Lord for even a moment. Undoubtedly, the Lord is always within the hearts of all living creatures, but they hardly know about it because they are deluded by the illusory material nature. The devotees, however, realize the presence of the Lord, and therefore they can always see the lotus feet of the Lord within their heart. Such pure devotees of the Lord are as glorious as the Lord. They are in fact recommended by the Lord as more worshipful than He Himself. Worship of the devotee is more potent than worship of the Lord. It is therefore the duty of the transcendental students to hear of pure devotees, as explained by similar devotees of the Lord, because one cannot explain about the Lord or his devotee unless one happens to be a pure devotee himself.
Shishaka vacha iti bruvanam viduram vinitam sahasa shishna charanopadhanam Rahishya-roma Bhagavat Kathayam Praniyamano Munirabhya Chasta. Sri Shukadeva Goswami, the personality Goddess Shri Krishna, was pleased to place his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura because Vidura was very meek and gentle. The sage Maitreya was very pleased with Vidura's word and being influenced by his spirit, he attempted to speak. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, the personality Godhead, Shri Krishna, was pleased to place his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura because Vidura was very meek and gentle. The sage Maitreya, very pleased with Vidura's word and being influenced by his spirit, he attempted to speak.
Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The word Sahasra Shrinaha is very significant. One who has diverse energies and activities, and the one who brain is known as a Sahasra Shrinaha. This qualification is applicable only to the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and no one else. The personality of Godhead was pleased to dine sometimes with Vidura at his home, and while resting, he placed his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura. Maitreya was inspired by the thought of Vidura's wonderful fortune. The hairs of his body stood on end, and he was pleased to narrate the topic of the personality of Godhead with great delight.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषाय शून्यवादी साक्षात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I will take this verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Bruvana Viduram Vinitam Sahasa Shishna Charanopadhanam Prahishya Roma Bhagavat Kathayam Praniyamano Munirabhya Chashta. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said the personality Godhead Shri Krishna was pleased to place his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura because Vidura was very meek and gentle. The sage Maitreya was very pleased with Vidura's word and being influenced by his spirit, he attempted to speak. So there is a discussion going between two great devotees, Maitreya and Vidura, and we are in the world of Maya and excited by the varieties, emotions of the material world, and the emotions and beauty of this world is, advertised through the various medias, and they tantalize the weak conditioned souls. People spend there for hours watching movies where they show attraction to sense objects and so-called, the pancharasas reflected, in the material world and the glorifying. Even though all the beauty of the world is temporary, even though all the relationships of the world are waste, but they are so much glorified in this the media, and we start ye dosti, ye bhaichara, and all. We are all looking. These are all emotions, mera desh man, at the same time the beauty of the world. It's all on the material platform, and we are thrown within the waves of that, and people don't even know this is not real life, and they're lost in it. And here we see another world. How much another world? Vidura, a great devotee of the Lord, and visiting Maitreya. And Maitreya is feeling real ecstasy. The hairs are rising on his body, and real world, this is real ecstasy of spiritual happiness. And in association of Vidura, who's a pure saint, is feeling so happy. Oh my God. I'm meeting Vidura. Look, and this Vidura is so fortunate. The Lord places lotus feet on his lap. So what does happen? So who is Vidura? So the big history of Vidura is actually Yamaraj himself. And there was a sage called Manduka Muni. Sometimes I was read in the general reading, it is also sometimes referred as Mandavya Muni on the net. And Manduka is what name Srila Prabhupada uses. And this Muni once, what happened that he had an ashram, so we have a small temple. And some people came running. Now we don't know. It's like somebody came yesterday, we always say, would you like to stay with us? We encourage everybody, come stay, chant Hare Krishna, take prasad. So some people came running to his ashram and said, we want shelter. He said, okay, these are the quarters, you can stay. And they're staying there. Suddenly the King's men came, the soldiers came searching for some murderers, thieves and murderers. So, and they located that in his ashram. And they arrested everybody, including Mandukamuni. And the short trial was held by the king's son, and the son they gave them death penalty all over. Now the death penalty was very, can't even imagine to hear what kind of penalty it was. Is better? Yes. So the death penalty was very horrible. What is that? A lance. Lance means they will have a, like this kind of a needle, big needle. And they'll make a person sit on it. So through the anus it will go inside, and through the mouth it will come out, and person will die. Horrible. To even think about it is fearful. Don't worry, Yamaraja has even more dangerous things. Therefore chant Hare Krishna. Material world is dangerous and come out of this place. Otherwise, such kind of things are there. And those in Syria used to hear all those things. They used to cut people, burn alive. As you think, as a Yamudutas have come on earth. Isn't it? They look like Yamudutas have come on earth. Horrible. Anyway, so when to hear that itself is scary, you'll not get sleep, but that's what the death penalty was. And when they killed the thieves and the turn came of the sage, at that moment, suddenly, the king came to know. And I think it is dramatized on the media that, you know, they could not, he was flying in the air, they could not do anything, but they dramatized. But a brief narration, Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says the purpose that when his turn came, the king came to know. And king came to know, and he set aside the death penalty and begged pardon from the Muni, great sage. It was about to be killed. So he started wondering, okay, this king saved me today, but what was my karma because of which I had to save? This is a deeper thing. When you get a pain or a difficulty, you should think what karma is resulting in this. Correct? Nothing can happen without any karma. So he went to Yamaraj. And he asked Yamaraj, please tell me, what did I do to deserve such kind of a punishment? My life has been virtuous. So Yamaraj said, your life was virtuous, but when you have a small child, there was an ant in front of you. And you take a needle, and just like these people are about to do, you did that thing same to the ant. You went through the body of the ant. In fact, when you remember as small children, actually we play with nature. We are meant to live with nature. True? Remember small children days? We'll play with the insects and all, and the whole day we'll engage in that. Small insect going on a thread, turn it around, oh, again you go. So life is like that for small children, you know, and it should be like that. Today, what? That they remove from nature, they just roam with the mobile, that's all. They're not able to feel their existence properly. Okay. So then the Mandukya Muni said, my dear Yamaraj, you're a fool, number one. A small child doesn't know what is it is. So if you were to punish him for the activities of a small child, I think you're a fool, number one. I'm going to curse you now for this to reform you. Okay? And become a Shudra on earth. So for 100 years, therefore, Yamaraj came down on earth as Vidura. Roughly. Exactly, I don't know the life. But the lives are not small. Krishna's visible pastime is 125 years. We just tried even more than that. Okay, so this is Vidura. And then how does Vidura take birth on earth? Is, you know, the Bhishma brought 3 ladies. What are that? Amba, Ambika, Ambalika. Okay, I hope I'm not doing this. And Amba was the one turned away because, you know, and finally she was cause of the death of Bhishma. You know, that's one. So remain 2, Vichitra Virya. They were extremely beautiful, all three of them, extremely beautiful. There are so many meaning of the word Vichitra Virya, very, very powerful. And another meaning is Vichitra. He didn't have a child. Generally, a king, one of the things the king will do is produce a son and train him to become a special king and special genetics. This is, lineage was not ordinary. These are all either Chandra Vamsha, these are all generally Chandra Vamsha and this, or they are Surya Vamsha. These are special lineage and they're very special. If you see the wars, the king used to be the real warrior. Rest were like, they are there on the battlefield. When Ravana came on the Mahabharata war, he was special. He was equal to the whole army. Similarly, in Mahabharata war also, Arjuna and all, this is really special. If they are not there, war is over. That one man is so powerful. He can fight phenomenally with Divya weapons. Very, very powerful, very special. Special genetics. Very powerful people. So it was important to preserve such lineage. I'm speaking in medical terms. Genetics were very special people. Today, people are very worried. What will happen to my lineage? What is there in your lineage? But this lineage is not ordinary. Special force. Very special source. Each one. So there, Vichitra Virya, there is some reading that too much indulgence in sex, he died early. Vichitra. Virya refers to semen something. He died, produced without producing a child. God. Right young he died. And now, there are different readings, maybe tuberculosis or so many things. Something, he died early. Some people come and too much indulge. There was two beautiful wives and too much indulge in them and boom. Therefore, it's not recommended. It's all recommended controlled sex life. And now, there was a disaster. No lineage of this great dynasty. So Satyavati called her Bhishma. And Satyavati is one of the Draupadi, Satyavati are all characters because so many people became mad after that. So she called Bhishma and he said that you took a vow not to marry. And it was because of your father. Because father wanted to marry me and you took a vow, you will never marry. So this all happened, but the conditions put by Satyavati's father. Now, the situation is there is no lineage. So please get married, find a suitable girl, get married and produce a son so that they can rule. So this lineage continues. Bhishma said, no way, no way, I'm not going to break my... The sun may stop giving light, the moon may stop giving whatever, the whole universe may change. I am not going to break my vow. This is not going to happen. So she became very sad now. What to do? This fellow is really too much. So then, this is not Kali Yuga, this is Dwapara Yuga. The Bhishma said there is one concession. If suppose somebody is not able to give a child, the brother, through the, I told you that the 5 things which are not forbidden in Kali Yuga, the brother can give a child through the wife. This is allowed in previous ages. Kali Yuga, this is banned. I told you the reason. So now, can't we follow this in some way? Satyavati said, none of you know, but there is one secret. What is that? Parashara produced from me a child called Vedavyasa. Therefore, Dvaipayana, between the, in the, not in the, when it was in the middle of the river. And he created some fog and mist. And I used to sting with like a fish. But by his touch, I became free from all the sting. And by his, Siddhi, I still remained a virgin, even though I produced a child. And that child is Vedavyasa. And he knows I am his mother. And he has given me a promise that anytime I can just, moment I think about him, it just appear within moments. So I can call him and will request him because he is the brother. He's also my son. So this is my another son. So he can come and give a birth to this wives of Vichitra Virya, Amba and Ambari. So how is the plan? Bhishma says, perfect, you can do that. And the Vedavyasa has all the great qualities. He is totally controlled in the senses, very learned, says. Actually, the incarnation of God is a great personality. Yeah. So she sat in the chambers, immediately remembered Vyasa came. And she embraced her child. She was weeping with affection. Mother. Then she said, my dear son, you do something. She said, mother, tell me anything. Now we have to produce a child. This is the. He said, yes, can be done. So let them do some austerity for 1 year so they can have some good child. Hey, no time, not 1 year austerity. He said, you're not good, sir. Let's do tapasya, Let these girls do some tapasya, just like Garbhadana Sanskara, so they can have a good child. But no time, she was in tension, no world will watch, there is no here to throw on the confusion. Okay, get one of them ready. After some time, I'll come. So that's what she has to not convince. So she took Ambika first and he said, get ready, and this is this. And no, she didn't tell actually who will come. So she thought maybe Bhishma will come because this was allowed in those days. Maybe Bhishma will come. And entered the chambers, Vedavyasa. And Vedavyasa matted hair of lots and not very, like princely beauty and all. And blackish in color. She just closed her eyes, can't look at her. And therefore, he had a relation with her and he came out. So the mother said, Satyavati, so what's the news? Yes, he predicted the child will be born with the strength of 10,000 elephants. And but he will be blind because she closed her eyes. So, but how can a blind person be king? She was thinking. He said, you have to come again. I said, okay, I'll come after some time. So around some time passed, maybe 1 year or something. Then again he came. That's the age difference, whatever the age difference between Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Yes. And then he came again. And the other one she prepared. So Ambika's one, Malika, no, next one. And she also, when she looked at him, got frightened, pale. She became pale. So the next child was born. She also Vedavyasa had a relation and he went out. And Satyavati said, so tell me how it was. Now this child will be a great person, but will be pale, whitish and pale and look. And he will be a great personality, Pandu. And through him, the Pandavas, great devotees will take birth. She was happy. Okay, so this is 2. And then she said, requested one more time. Is it okay? So now what that Ambika and Ambalika discussed, he are not going to keep anybody. I know, one time is enough. So Ambalika, so what she did, she tricked. So when he entered his chamber 3rd time, she had a dasi, one maidservant, was very beautiful, like heavenly beauty. She made her sit in a bed. She ran away. So when Vedavyasa entered, she was there. Vedavyasa could recognize, but she was very humble. And she said, I've been given the service, so please give a child. And he liked her very much. He said, okay, I'll give you a child. And the 3rd conception occurred and Vedavyasa went away. And this was Vidura. And the same child who had been cursed by Manduka Muni, the Veda, Yamaraj. Now Yamaraj take birth as Vidura. Now Vidura from childhood, because being incarnation of Yamaraj, was extremely intelligent. Not intelligent, extremely. And many times he instructed Dhritarashtra. In fact, just before the war, when Krishna had come for the Sandhi and all, during that time, Dhritarashtra called for Vidura. Always Vidura used to guide him. It's not good. Don't do it. And Dhritarashtra also was, had no obligation, but he kept Vidura with great respect. Great respect he kept Vidura. Vidura, the great personality. And as a Dasi Putra, not obliged, he not inheritor of the throne, but he gave him all the great affection and wealth. So Vidura was obliged to Dhritarashtra, and always there was a very affectionate relationship. Dhritarashtra knew whatever Vidura says is correct, but he used to say, whatever you say is so sweet and correct. But when I see my son Duryodhana, I lose control on myself. I'm so attached to him. And I've given you the analysis why this is so, because Dhritarashtra's mind was not satisfied. Unsatisfied mind means we look for a way to do anything to solve it. So that's what continued. Now Vidura's condition was exalted, and he never compromised. He always was siding with the truth. Like we see in the life of Dhritarashtra, so much compromise. So finally, when Krishna came for peace offer, at that time, Dhritarashtra told Duryodhana, go, you forced him. He said, yes, he will stay in, he will eat in my place, and we will rest in Dusashana's place. Like that, we will make grand. Krishna said, I'm not good, because you do not obey me. You are not my devotee, and you are envious of my devotees. The Duryodhana was burning in envy of the Pandavas, who are his dear devotees. Always, therefore, any morality should not cross the Lord. Many times people analyze Mahabharata and all, but the moment the Lord's decision is visible, we should not become more intelligent than God himself. For Krishna, Pandavas are very, very, very dear. To even slightly comment on them or doubt their character is fine. And that's why Vidura could see them. Vidura was always counseling. This is so great. So anyway, so Dhritarashtra calls for Vidura. Anyway, first, let me finish the first part. And then he says, I am in great anxiety. I am not getting sleep. So Vidura says, yes. When you fight with the enemy more stronger than you, when you lost all your wealth, he gives 4 reasons. And then Dhritarashtra says something, 8 reasons for that. It goes on. It's a big document. Just like you have Chanakya Niti, this is called Vaidurik Vidura Niti. But we don't have any comment from Acharyas on this. And I try to see on the net, so many Vaidurikamas are available, the translation. But avoid just mota outside you can see, but inside we don't know, have they taken the right meaning or not of every Sanskrit word. Just like Prabhupada used to say, we should be very careful who is translated. Because only devotee can know. Just like Bhagavad Gita, you have thousands of explanations, mostly wrong. So just externally, I saw this and I'm telling you, Vaidurika, Vidura Niti. Check, very famous Chanakya Niti. This is Vidura Niti. Much before Chanakya Niti has come, Vidura Niti. And obviously coming from Yamaraj himself, perfect in judgment and principles. Okay, now next what happened, Krishna should stay. Come to the next pastime. I think many of you know this. So when Duryodhana offered, Krishna refused. He said, I'm not going to eat at your place. I'm not a beggar. Neither I'm hungry. I'm not going to eat at your place. You can understand. Krishna is not a beggar. Neither Krishna is hungry. And he is Swaraj, fully satisfied in himself. He just accepts love as devotee. So he says, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to stay at Vidura, Mahatma Vidura. He's called Mahatma Vidura, my great devotee. Because he sees the truth always. And without any compromise, speaks the truth. So he went to Vidura's place. When he went to Vidura's place, Vidura was not there. I think you all know that. Vidura's wife was there. And she went into trance. Krishna said, I am hungry. Give me something to eat. And she was such a great devotee. She went into samadhi and almost madness and with that confusion, like you hear about Shabari, tasting and giving. This is not this is abnormal. We don't do that. We don't make Lord's food juta when offering to the Lord. Correct? The cooks are very careful. The Shabari used to eat every bay, test it, and give. So similarly, here it was Vidura's wife. You can say Vidurani, something like that name is given. she was offering banana, but she was throwing the banana and offering the peel. You can understand that she was in ecstasy. The Lord is taking service from my hand. And that went on, and Krishna was eating banana peel. Then Vidura entered the assembly. Oh my God, what are you doing? He told his wife, what are you doing? And she suddenly realized, and she started giving banana, saying banana peel. Krishna said the first one was more tasty because it was total ecstasy. So Krishna accepts Allah. And then after that, Krishna was very happy to talk to Vidura. And that's what Maitreya is mentioning. He kept his lotus feet on his lap. And Maitreya is saying, you're so fortunate. The devotees are not envious of other devotees. Devotees always see the fortune of other devotees. Now, if you meditate on this, like Maitreya is meditating, Vidura is so fortunate, Krishna places lotus feet on his lap. You also get that mercy one day. Today, for us, fortune is unfortunately because our heart is not still pure. So you see somebody coming in a long, huge car. Oh, he is so fortunate. Then these are the things you're desiring. The karma, jnana, bija has come in your heart, and one day you'll become like that. You'll work hard to achieve that. But when you understand the real fortune is like Vidura, to have the Lord's lotus feet on your lap, then you'll work for that. Don't you do that? And then you'll feel so much. I want to achieve that situation. So that is what we should work for, to achieve the situation. What situation? To have the Lord's lotus feet in our lap. Okay. And so, and Maitreya is in ecstasy. How fortunate he is. How fortunate. And he's feeling. So therefore, what kind of conversation this is, isn't it? Maitreya, another great devotee, he had darshan of the Lord before the Lord left the world and heard so many instructions from the Lord and became blessed. And here is Vidura, where the Lord's lotus feet were kept, and they're both in ecstasy. Actually, one is the teacher, one is the student. Apparently, actually, both are exalted devotees. Just like Shuka and Parikshit Maharaj, who you say less or more, you can't say. Parikshit Maharaj is not ordinary, he's also an exalted devotee. And ecstasy, the discussion is going on. Similarly, in ecstasy discussion, Maitreya and Vidura is going on. Devotee don't see this, who is higher, who is lower. That is not their criteria. They just enjoy the pleasure of hearing the pastimes of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear from Ramanadara. Ramanadara is a jiva, he is Vishnu. So when it comes to Krishna consciousness, the sarvopadi vinirmuktam, the whole arena goes outside the upadis. Vidura is not thinking, I'm Yamaraj, what is speaking? No. Even beyond all this kind of upadis is Krishna consciousness. There's so much pleasure of Krishna consciousness. When Shuka Muni was speaking, Vedavyasa was sitting. Vedavyasa, his father was sitting. Narad Muni, the guru of his father, is sitting. This is not, this is about enjoying the nectar. In fact, even Srila Prabhupada used to do that. Srila Prabhupada wanted. In fact, that's why I'm against. When temple class is there, somebody should give a class, not put a tape. Sometimes the devotee just put a tape. No, somebody should give a class because that person becomes purified by giving a class. And Prabhupada himself had that. He never, I never heard Prabhupada did that. In his temples on tape was played. No, somebody gave a class. In fact, very interesting was at the beginning of the movement, classes were all same every day, same class every day. Krishna is Supreme Lord, we have to serve him, we should serve him, and therefore Jiva is part and parcel of Krishna. Same class, because no books were there. Only one book was there. Bhagavatam first canto. That also they have not read most of them. So same class every day. I was hearing from one prophet, every day class was same. We have to serve Krishna, therefore we should chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Same, that's all they knew. And every day they were repeating. But the movement is exploding. And just hearing that, people are surrendering to Krishna because there was sincerity. It is not that I have to hear something new, something I have to do. No, sincerity. You have to hear with submission. It's like even reading books proper, people don't get satisfied reading proper. So I want to read more, I want to read it. Please read proper books with submission and respect. That's enough. So anyway, so this is how the story ends of Vidura and a great devotee, great personality, and we are getting so much benefit hearing the pastimes of Maitreya talking to. Good. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have two questions. Is it true that we should not share food? Like we should not have remnants of, food with your friends or family, or you take the bad karmas of their, if you eat from their plate or something like that?
That is separate, but we sharing food is sharing diseases.
Okay.
We are not the great acharyas, they can do that. And it says the great acharyas, we can even steal there. It is
Yeah,
allowed.
that I heard. Yeah, that I've heard. From the devotees, it's prasadam.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotee. I'm forgetting his name, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was so humble that he used to go to very great devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and say, give me your remnant.
Yeah.
And one devotee refused to give. He was very advanced devotee. So what he did, he gave him mango. So he had mangoes. What do you do after eating mango? You throw the peels. He was waiting outside the house when he threw that in the garbage, picked it up and he had. And Chaitanya knew that. He's so humble. He actually tries to have remnant for his devotees. And then when he came to Jagannath Puri, he was very humble. Always, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he's entering the temple, he washed the feet. So he was washing and drinking. So 1, 2, 2 times, 3 times, Chaitanya allowed him. They say, enough. I know you, how sweet you are. So Chaitanya personally blessed him also for that. Okay. But generally, I think all the great devotees, great acharyas, their prasadam is not called prasadam, it's called Maha Prasadam. It is extremely powerful and making somebody devotees.
One more question. We are reading Bhagavatam now as a study group, and there is this mention that Sri Krishna has formed the Varnashrama system according to the skills and not by birth. Then in the same
Or Bhagavatam?
both, I mean in Bhagavatam also, and initially in the preface, I think it is coming. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, yeah. So my only question is then why was Eklavya not, accepted as a skillful warrior?
Standard story, standard answer. Read
Archer,
Bhakti-
sorry, yeah.
Bhakti
Because he
Siddhanta.
was not by birth archer.
Number one thing,
Yeah.
Dronacharya, we are not going to vouch for. We don't say he's a pure devotee. Correct? Number one. He was too attached to his son also. He has weaknesses. We say Bhishma, I'll vouch for. If we regard him as a pure devotee. Correct? I'll defend all his activity. Not Dronacharya, number one. Number two, the Dronacharya at this instance was right. See, what did Ekalavya do? When Ekalavya said no, no means no. The Guru has a privilege, no?
Yeah.
Now, boy wants to marry a girl. Do you think girl doesn't have a privilege to say no? So I don't want to marry. Correct? So he is a guru. He can say no now. He's not forced to accept somebody as a disciple. He said, no, I'm not teaching. And another thing is that Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada gives a very nice analysis of this. See what he did later. He fought against Krishna. Krishna killed him actually later, much later. So he was a demon. He sided some asura. He came to fight for an asura with Krishna. So Krishna personally killed him. So by not teaching him archery, it's not that you're supposed to teach anybody. If somebody is going to misuse, better not teach. This instance, Dronacharya was right because later he did that, this boy too. The third thing is that which is very interesting is that we should never try to surpass a personal confidential servant of the Lord. Arjuna is very dear to the Lord and is a confidential servant. So both Karna and Eklavya are trying to surpass Arjuna as an offense. Just like we all know Hanuman is a pure devotee, no doubt, correct? To trying to surpass Hanuman and trying to be greater than him is an offense. Neither you can do it because they directly protected, but even thinking of doing that is an offense. He is a servant of the Lord, invested with some special power. So to envy or try to be better than a pure devotee of the Lord is a great offense. So both of them are only looking at one character, Arjuna, as a warrior. But is a pure devotee Krishna, that they are not seeing. They're treating him like an ordinary person who they want to surpass. Both Karna and Ekalavya had that kind of a tendency.
So would they be knowing that he was a pure devotee and Sri Krishna was...
No, but they unconsciously, they made an office in that process, correct? So Dronacharya, when he says, no, I don't want anybody to be better than Arjuna, is doing a devotion service, correct? Because he's For the mission of the Lord, he's training somebody.
Yeah, true.
So the thought of Ekalavya to, and see, if he was a real disciple, what's on the Prabhupada, you just type on the net, you will get it, because a very famous analysis by Prabhupada's Guru.
Okay.
He says that actually his Guru Bhakti is a joke. When Guru says no, means no. That's real Guru Bhakti. Correct? And no means no, isn't it? Suppose you really respect your father. Father, you aren't going to do it. Say, okay, finish. Solve one. He says no. That no has a value. No? And he says, no, I will make a murti of, there's a one kind of foolish philosophy nowadays. They say Ritvik. It's almost
Yeah. Today we were discussing the same thing.
Like a Ritvik only.
Yeah.
I won't take mercy of Dronacharya by putting his image.
Yeah.
How do you know Dronacharya accepted and trying and pray something? He got some skill he got even by a shadow. And when Dronacharya came, this is misuse. And therefore, he was not, he didn't approve of that process. And I said that Ekalavya gave his finger, it was just to show, it's not like real Guru Bhakti. If the real Guru Bhakti was there, you should not even learn that. When Guru said, this area you don't enter, that's it. Don't enter after the area. But, it was to show himself like a moral man. You say, I gave. That was not total. He has an analysis step by step where he said, actually, he was not really a Guru Bhakta. Just like Guru Bhakti, we see in proper life. He gave his life. Guru's order. Correct? I cannot put him on the same category. And you were unjust to him. This is very much many times said. Ekalavya, Karna, there are some 10, 15 instances of Mahabharata which are difficult. In fact, Madhvacharya, I wish one we get a bona fide commentary. Madhvacharya wrote a book called Mahabharata Tatparna Nirnaya. Mahabharata Tatparna Nirnaya, where he takes all the difficult passages of Mahabharata, they're difficult to understand for a common man. Looks immoral, isn't it? Correct? Wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you look at it, looks wrong. So he went to, because Madhvacharya's incarnation is very unique. He came in 3 incarnations, Vayu, to assist the Lord, the incarnation of Vayu. The first one was Hanuman, wherever you know about Bajrang. The second one was Bhima, came to assist Krishna in his mission. The third time he came as Madhvacharya to assist Vedavyasa in his mission. And his ambition was that Vedavyasa's books are being misunderstood and misinterpreted. So he wrote a lot of works too, and we come in the same Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya. As a pure devotee, he taught so many things. And one of the books he wrote, Madhva Tatparna Nirnaya, where he takes the different things of Mahabharata Tatparna Nirnaya, which are difficult to understand. And he tried to explain. When Acharya explained, just like when you heard the Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada explain, you felt reassured because his judgment is perfect. So Madhvacharya himself did that work and wrote a huge book called Mahabharata Tatparna Nirnaya, and very popular among Madhvas, that book. And I wish one day I can read a bona fide translation of that book. Then it will be helping. I'll get more arguments.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
New batch has started and
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
new batch has started. So we have picked up registrations now. Somewhat lucky it was that one day more it was. So we made something, 75% we made it, but a lot of work now. So last time the video ads were the hit. And towards the end, we had a massive views on the website, and to some extent, 5,000, we jumped to 15,000. We saved our face. Otherwise, all teachers would have got 10, 20 people. Now we need to start again. Yes, Shashi Mataji, your prayers help Krishna. Help us, sorry. Prayers blessed us. Now we need to work. We need to start publicity for the batch 22 immediately. This is month after month hard work of wonderful devotees. So I want, like last time, make videos but I request there was don't use any copyrighted video. My whole page was about to be deleted by Facebook, charging me with. I knew that video has used one background music which is copyrighted. See, they're very sensitive about it. YouTube throws out your channel. Facebook throws out the channel. If you do that, I think Ashwin knows about this. So please do not use any copyrighted music and be creative and make your nice posters. We will have both. Last time, two mistakes I did. Number one was that I had only videos. But when video leads to a lot of views, but there's no much clarity about what I'm clicking. They like the video. So the last slide in the video should be very nicely about the poster itself. So make both the poster and the videos in all the languages. Aishwarya Mataji is here. So do that, number one. And we will launch the, maybe today, Tuesday, Wednesday, we should launch the new batch. Whatever it comes, I will easy. Poster should be there, easy to share on WhatsApp and people immediately see. That was one mistake we did, to only rely on videos. Videos are cheaper, they get easy, quick. Now we are all, see what is happening. I was also spending time with a lot of temple presidents now in ISKCON. Again, wave has started. We are in third wave now. At least 2 months, temples will be closed, what I can see. Okay, so we all have to learn all this, what I'm telling you, the technology. We cannot be udasi from all that. So we have to learn the trick. So videos get a good click, very easy for a short, less money, I get a click. A lot of people and go to the registration, but they don't go with clear picture. So anybody like Ashwin is there, all of you who have this thing, please join a team. We will all work very intelligently and I'll not be alone in that. I was in a total anxiety what to do. And we still are behind what we normally do, but not bad. Hindi was not as big as every time, so sucked okay. Other languages done not well, but 75% they did. So we need to actually plan well. We have a nice team. We can work together, and we can see that we cross 1 lakh registration per batch. I want to quickly reach 1 million, 10 million, 100 million. And imagine, in fact, I met people even in Mangalore who had never come to temple. Now hundreds. You know, the highest class yesterday was in, any guess? Any guess who did that? Who had the biggest class yesterday? The largest number of people. Any guess? Tulu, 460, highest. And the Guru Maharaj told us, why don't do Tulu? And we thought Tulu is small language, but Tulu did number 1. Hindi, number 2. No, not number 2. Number 2 was Bengali, and that also crossed 400. And number 3, Hindi. Now, I'm not just talking about a total, I'm talking an individual class. I think the biggest was Tulu, followed by Bengali, which was also huge. Almost, they were Tulu and Bengali almost. So, see, investing time and energy in regional languages is bearing fruit now. It had just been English. Now people want to hear in India. So we have all of you who can, please join different departments and help all the languages develop. And we have more help needed in Marathi. The really pressing area is Marathi. It's the biggest language. Pressing in Bengali. We need anybody who knows Bengali and Marathi, please help us. And more teachers needed there. And you will go there as teaching maybe small children and then grow up. We need to push in also Punjabi and Assami and 3 languages. Konkani, Punjabi, Assami. These 3 languages we don't know anybody. Not started. So I thought somebody knows. Konkani, they say the toughest people. So my students say, bro, waste of time. They're so proud. I said, no, they don't let us. 18 days, this course does magic at it. They hear. Isn't it? All of you agree? That one time hearing and all the 18 days kind of a package, it crushes somebody, surrenders to Krishna. The magic of Gita works. So Konkani is one. Please write a mail to me if you can. We can help me set up a department. We will have a lot of work to do. One is Punjabi, Gurumukhi, we have to translate all the work to Punjabi. And Bengali, there are a lot of work of translation still pending there. Bengali, Marathi, all this. So keep in mind, and all the languages have to keep developing and join those departments and feel the ecstasy of reaching them. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna.
language gechadi ma.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Dandavat
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you,
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
बहुत बहुत बधाई हो आपको।